You know, being able to afford health care has become a greater challenge for many during this pandemic. There is a group of older adults called the forgotten middle who have too much money to qualify for assistance through Medi-Cal, but not enough to afford good health care on their own. But this year, changes to Medi-Cal mean more help for this group and others. Joining us now is Mary Jurgensen, Community Engagement Director at Gary and Mary West PACE, which stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. Welcome.
Thanks, Virginia, for having us today.
Good to see you. So, a couple of big changes to Medi-Cal this year. As of May 1st, immigration status no longer a barrier to full Medi-Cal benefits for people 50 and over. And starting last week, the asset limit is now much higher. So can you explain how much higher and how big an impact that's going to have?
It's a huge impact. So traditionally, up until July 1st, individuals who had $2,000 or less could qualify for Medi-Cal, and as a couple, $3,000 or less. As you can imagine, that excluded many folks who really were in need of high-touch, quality healthcare services from being able to enroll in PACE programs and other community-based programs. So we were so excited when health advocates and legislators really went to bat for this forgotten middle senior population in particular and raised those limits from $2,000 to $130,000 for an individual and up to $195,000 for couples.
Yeah, that is such a big jump. Again, we're talking about asset limits here and not income. The majority of seniors I know have said they want to stay in their homes. How will this limit change help with that? And of course, I want to point out that the primary home does not count toward the asset limit, right?
Correct. Primary home, automobile, among other things, but it is immeasurable. So many times, both myself and my team would meet with seniors who really wanted to stay at home, and we had to give them the very sad news that the fact that they were not, in essence, poor enough, they couldn't qualify for programs and services. The challenge is the high cost of living meant that for so many people to qualify for Medi-Cal, they were doing so at the expense of losing housing, losing access to transportation, and most importantly, losing the ability to manage their health and ending up in the hospital, which costs more money to the healthcare system. And ironically, no one wants to go to the hospital. They want to stay at home and feel better and get the help they need with those that they love around them.
Yeah, I mean, this certainly makes sense for the real world. The asset limit, of course, going away completely starting January 1st, 2024. Now, you talked about how big a barrier this has been, and it must be so difficult up to now because they wouldn't really be able to save money in excess of that old limit.
You have to work for the hospital. Correct. I mean, we would find families who were making decisions between paying rent or going to the doctor. Seniors who would routinely call the ambulance in order to go to the hospital to get medications. And so the ability to retain a nest egg, so to speak, to be able to remain in their home while also having program and services come to them rather than having to leave their home and go to an institution will be immeasurable. And again, overall, it just equates to a better quality of life for those seniors in particular that PACE programs serve, but for all of us to be receiving the care in the environment where it's most indicated.
Absolutely. We have a few seconds left, Mary. How do people take advantage of these changes?
You know, it's overwhelming. I think so many seniors may be thinking, hey, I want to try to reapply for Medi-Cal. I've been denied before. But it's a lot to try to call the county office or navigate a phone tree. So I really encourage you to reach out. Give us a call at PACE at 760-280-2230 and speak with someone in our enrollment team. We can help guide someone where even if it's not something we're quite sure about, we'll have some resources to put you in the touch with folks that can help. And it's a lot easier when you talk to a person live on the phone rather than trying to remember what number to push to get the help you need.
That is so helpful. And also you can go online, Gary and Mary West PACE. Mary Jurgensen, Community Engagement Director, thank you so much. Very valuable info.
My pleasure. Thank you.